So tonight I'm going to talk with you guys about mind training. So as you know, we are in the business of mind training, and we are training our own minds. We're not handing our minds over to some guru or teacher or leader. The Buddha taught over 2,500 years ago, left us really clear instructions. He said, I will point the way, but you have to go. So it's up to us to explore, to practice, to train. And he also said, remember, ehi passiko. See for yourself. If what I'm teaching doesn't help you, put it aside. If it does, great, use it. So that's what I want to talk about tonight. So I am in the process of preparing to teach a course that I'll be starting in 2 weeks. And that inspired me to, so the course is on samadhi, the 3 mind training steps of the Eightfold Path. So tonight I'm going to give you an overview of the path and kind of just where this teaching fits in. And meanwhile, I have been preparing for my class, so that's good. But I do want to say it's so good to see your faces and that we can be unmasked. We can be unmasked, and that's kind of exciting. So the scheme that the Buddha gave us was just all about the one thing he taught, which is suffering and its end. Remember, that's it. So the one thing he taught actually is four truths. That there is suffering inherent in our lives. I'm also going to use the word stress, because you can use the word stress. We can relate to that word maybe a little better. It's the same idea that, we have a lot of stress in our lives. And so it's part and parcel of being alive on earth. It's inherent in life. It's not because you did something wrong or you're not doing your life right. So the second truth is that the cause of the suffering, of the stress, is craving, where the mind is always wanting to get rid of something or get something. So there's that constant altercation going on. The third truth is that, we can be free. We can be free of suffering, of craving. And the fourth truth is the training program. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So the fourth truth, it's so exciting to me, like again and again, that this wonderful teacher left detailed instructions for us. We don't have to figure it out. So I toyed with the idea, and I think I'll offer it in case, that you all just pick up an object, like a simple object, a pen or anything nearby, and it's up to you if you want to do it. And let this kind of remind you of your of the stress in your life, of why you're here, why you want to train, why you want to practice, why you showed up tonight to deal with this. Let this, and maybe hold it throughout the talk as just like a little touchstone to remember. Yeah. So I'm going to unpack the training program, and I'm really going to focus on how I use it. So, in the last over 2,500 years, so many others have studied and practiced and taught and written commentaries about this heart of his teaching, of the program. And we can learn so much from them. And then we put it into practice, and that's where we really learn from our own experience, our direct experience. So I'm going to offer some of the ways I use the path, and maybe it'll be helpful. I wish we could open it up and have a major discussion and hear how everybody's working with it. But I'm hoping that some of the things I do might resonate with you. So I really love this quote by Thich Nhat Hanh that kind of helps us reframe this idea of suffering. So it's not all life is suffering. So there are people out there who say, I don't want to have anything to do with Buddhism. It's all about suffering. It's all negative, and it's all, bad news. So let's hear what Thich Nhat Hanh says. He says, we need to understand the goodness of suffering. It's the compost that helps the roses grow. It's the mud from which magnificent lotuses emerge. So when we begin to accept and see more clearly our own stresses and the way we feed our stresses, the way we cultivate our suffering and our stress by constantly craving, when we start to get a hit on what the mind is doing and how it's working with these, how it's adding second arrows to all kinds of disappointment that's part of it. So how we're wounding ourselves unnecessarily a lot of the time. We start to have, motivation to grow this beautiful lotuses, the roses, to work with our suffering, to bring forth beauty in our lives, and to be motivated to end our stress. So this is the stuff that gets us going. This is the difficulty in life really gets us inspired and going. And so to see our suffering is really step one on the path. Otherwise we're living in delusion. So in this continuous storyline that filters, justifies, rewrites narratives, blames situations, others, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And by the way, we all do that. So don't feel like I'm busting you. Don't feel like, oh no, uh-oh, I'm doing this. It's just the untrained mind that does it. So when we get to know our stress, our worries, our fears, our, the negativity in our minds, without judgment, then we get a sense of how this is getting created over again, the patterns of our particular stresses, and we can begin to respond. So this month in Lion's Roar, I want to recommend this month's issue of Lion's Roar. It's on breath, and it's on exploring Buddhism, Vipassana, insight meditation, and our tradition. And one of the articles is written by Andy Olinsky, who's a teacher of mine for a year-long program that I did. And I want to share his eloquent words. So he said, so he's writing about how insight meditation helps us to see clearly, more clearly. He says, we see that the causes of suffering are not the external events we encounter, but our internal physical, mental, and emotional responses to those events. When we try to hold on to things and keep them from changing, or try to reject the inevitable difficulty we encounter, the result is suffering. The way to overcome suffering is learning how to inhabit the present moment without any craving. So how to inhabit the present moment without any craving, how to be with the difficulties of our lives and see that they change and ride the waves and, relax as much as we can around how it's like this. It's like this. So this is why the mind training portion of the Noble Eightfold Path is so critical, and that daily meditation is so important, so that we can wake up and stay aware, right? So even a short amount every day is far better than 2 long sits twice a week. So, and of course, if we don't keep the mind, aware, then we, are lost in our delusion. So Sylvia Boorstein, is her book, Happiness is an Inside Job, is going to support my course. I love her. She's an amazing storyteller. She's a wonderful storyteller. She's a little old Jewish grandmother, and she just tells it like it is. So I'm just going to review the Four Noble Truths in her words. And she says, we'll start as the Buddha did in his declaration, what's fundamentally true about life, with the premise that, first truth, challenges in life are inevitable. Second truth, and that suffering, the mind in contentious mode with its experience, is the instinctive response of the untrained mind. So craving for things to be different. I'm going to say that again. This is the second truth, the cause of suffering. The mind in contentious mode with its experience is the instinctive response of the untrained mind. Okay? And the third is the definite promise that a peaceful mind, one not in contention with anything, is a possibility for human beings. And she says she's so inspired that the Buddha was a human being. He had a mind like we do. And he figured out how to work with it, And finally, the fourth truth, the training program, which has 8 parts, hence the Eightfold Path, all of which are designed to cultivate equanimity, balance. The balance in the mind that sustains both natural wisdom and the natural inclination to love. So that's what the whole training program is bringing us to, this balance, this natural inclination to access our wisdom. We all have it already. And our natural inclination to love. So she says, I could go on, but I won't. She says, my dedication to meditation practice is inspired by the promise that this kind of equanimity, this kind of balance is possible. And she's been on the path meditating over 50 years. So the training program, the path breaks down into the 8 steps breaks down into 3. And if you're like me, in the beginning, I was like, but how could 8 be divided by 3? Well, 1 has 2, 2, 3, and 3. I'm just going to give you a quick fire look at the 3 and how they really are all essential. But the 2 are really our map, the map of the, if we don't have a map of where we're going, we won't be able to get there. So it's understanding and intention. You could use the word wise or right or skillful. I'm going to use wise. Wise understanding and wise intention. What does that mean? It means the map of understanding that we plant seeds that come to fruition. Guess what? We plant wholesome seeds and we plant unwholesome seeds. What do we want in our garden? We want wholesome, healthy plants, right? So every moment we're planting, every moment we have the opportunity to plant wholesome seeds that we will experience. I love the example of just everybody, just for a moment, smile. And it's so infectious. You smile, and what happens? You get it right back. So that's a little mini karma lesson. And intention is basically compassion, loving kindness, and letting go of the ways we suffer, letting go. So it's basically just be nice. That's a really tiny explanation of right intention. Okay, so then that's the wisdom 2 of the path. That constitutes the 2 wisdom parts. The next 3 are the integrity training or ethical or morality. I love the word integrity for Sila, for this group. So it's cleaning up our speech. How we speak is crucial to spreading kindness and love and compassion or doing harm. We all, have done harm with our speech. Nothing to judge. It's like start today, start again. Speech, action, and livelihood. The 3 of these, how we act in the world, doing no harm again, not killing, lying, not killing, stealing, lying, and again, being nice, basically, how we show up in the world. And then livelihood, can we support our lives in ways that don't do harm, basically. So those 3 are the integrity training part that affect us when we do the mind training. So if we've shown up in the world in ways that have been kind of harmful or unhelpful or mean, we're going to sit with that. We're going to sit with that on in our meditation. So so we clean up our act in how we show up in the world, and that supports our mind training. So now I'm going to focus on the 3 mind training areas. So mindfulness and concentration. The 3 of them together often are called, well, it's technically the concentration group, and we shy away from that word because I'll tell you in a minute, but concentration is a tricky word because of how we use it, and it's different in this cosmology. So effort, Sylvia calls effort the unsung hero of the mind training. Why effort? We don't hear so much. We always hear about mindfulness and concentration, but effort is that the part of the path that brings the energy. So, oh, look at the suffering that I'm experiencing. Let me bring some energy. Let me notice what is going on in my mind in this moment while I'm feeling misery and distress and stress. And let me see what's going on. Let me see if it's wholesome or unwholesome. It's typically unwholesome. And let me see how I can work with that. Can I bring some kindness to my mind, to my heart? Can I bring some, can I bring some presence? So the three work together. Mindfulness comes right in. Effort brings energy, and mindfulness says, let's be right here, right now. Let's be present in our bodies. Let's notice our breath. Let's come home to just this moment. Whatever we're doing right now, let's do that. If we're straightening out papers on our desk, if we're chopping vegetables, if we're walking, if we're driving a car, let me just do that right now and do it with presence. So I'm not even looking at my notes. Sorry, I had to scratch my ankle. So traditionally, it's the four great efforts in right effort is the presence of wholesomeness in the mind and maintaining it. So we notice that the mind is wholesome, it's happy, and we want to maintain that. We want to keep feeding it by being present, by having thoughts of generosity and loving kindness. We notice the absence of wholesome, and we want to cultivate. Wait a minute, there's some fears here. There's some worrisome energy here. Let me remember that I wish to be happy, and as I wish to be happy, I wish others to be happy. Let's bring in some wholesome, loving kindness thoughts. The absence of unwholesome. So there's not anything negative. And how do we keep it out? Again, presence, kindness, and the presence of unwholesome. How do we eliminate it? So we, again, turn our attention to what's right in front of us, what's naturally the next obvious thing to do. Maybe it's to sit and notice our breath for a moment. Maybe it's to take a deep breath. Maybe it's to feel our body in our seat. So the way I work with this is when I wake up in the morning, I try to be very aware of my feet walking, and I try to get a hit on where my mind is. It's often wanting to go straight into the day. What's going on today? What do I have to get done? And I will notice that thrust into the future, and I'll bring it back. Bring it back. Mindfulness comes in. I'll notice my body moving, whatever I'm doing, get up, go to the bathroom, I'll be present. And now, can I just say, this is on the days that I'm working it. And this is my intention. I'm not there all the time. And when I am there, it's quite wholesome and pleasant. And it's reinforced. Let's do that again tomorrow when we wake up. Let's do that again tomorrow. The other thing is that I was on a hike recently, and I had never been on it, and I was in Colorado for the first time, and I was really fearful that I could, because the altitude was bothering me, and I was like, oh no, I have to get up this mountain. And so we passed somebody low, and the mountain had a reputation. This is a really tough one. So I asked somebody, is this, am I like a third of the way up yet? And the person coming down said, you know what? Don't think about it. Just keep going and don't think about it. And that became my mantra for getting all the way up. And it became my mantra for days after that. And I'm still using it. Don't think about it. What's the next natural thing to do in this moment? What is the next natural thing? And that brings us, that reinforces our energy to just be here. Of course, I'm running out of time, but I will just, mindfulness, we've talked a lot inside and out, the body, our feelings, sensations, our mind states, all of the scheme that the Satipatthana Sutta and the Anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, very detailed instruction on how to work with mindfulness to reduce our suffering, our stress. Basically, nutshell time, be present, here and now, like I've been saying. In concentration, another word for concentration is relaxation. It's steadying the mind. We bring the mind to the present moment, to here and now. We take some breaths with awareness. And what happens? The mind gets steady. The longer we sit, the longer we work with this, it gets more and more steady and calm. Calm is another major conditioner of concentration. And happiness. Happiness and metta support concentration in a big way. So I wish I had more time. I've already taken up more time than I was supposed to. So thank you so much for your attention, and may you dive in to the path even deeper and talk to each other about it, and use teachers, use commentaries. Blessings, everyone. So I think what I will do is the announcements, and then I'll see if we have questions. Okay? So guess what? September 12th is this Sunday, and we have a pop-up meditation at Boyce Park at 10 a.m. By the way, everything I'm going to tell you now is on the website. So don't stress out. Remember your stress pen or something in your hand. Hold it lightly, hold it very lightly. So that's this Sunday at 10 at Boyce Park. You can meditate with other people outside. Our annual picnic, again, outside Freedom Park, that's coming up on September 18th at 4 o'clock. That's always a really fun way to get to know other people and see people enjoy time together. This is the calendar. Moving on, my class starts on September 21st. It's on, again, Samadhi, the mind training section of the Noble Path. Tuesdays, 4 Tuesdays in a row at 7 to 8:50. The next day that my class starts is a Wednesday, and that's the Dharma Leader panel that we've been doing once or twice a year. So the Dharma leaders, some of us, just a few, will be leading discussion. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to work on Zoom, but we'll figure it out. There's a 4-class series starting on the basics of insight meditation. If you have not taken the basics, highly recommend. Larry Daywalt is a wonderful teacher. He's going to teach it starting on October 5th, and it's 4 Tuesday evenings in October on Zoom. So if you're in Rhode Island or wherever you happen to be, my sister is here with us tonight from Rhode Island, and it makes me so happy. And I've been looking at her a lot. So keep in mind, this is a wonderful basics class that is a foundational class. So then there is, about a month later, November 6th, is a day long with Joy and Larry, and it's entitled River of Life, Reaching the Other Shore. And so it's a day long on death and dying. Both of Joy and Larry are really experts on the topic. And Joy did a wonderful day long on Zoom early in the year, and she's got it down. So consider registering for that. That's on the website. Tuesday noon sits continue on Zoom. The instruction sessions are going to go back to the last Wednesday of the month. So only once a month before this group meets, there'll be the teacher for the evening will be leading meditation instructions. The last Wednesday of the month. And then, of course, the first Wednesday is if you have a regular practice and you want to talk with the Dharma leader and hear from other practitioners, you can show up for that. That's the first Wednesday of the month, practice discussion session. An announcement is that we need a person who is skilled in updating websites and posting talks to YouTube weekly. Anybody who has those skills who would like to contribute to the Sangha, you would be highly regarded human in the Sangha. We would be very, very appreciative. We have had a wonderful person who can no longer serve. And so we're looking for a techie person who could maybe do that for us. A deep bow. Oh, and if you are interested, it's please contact Thea at the web. Her email is communications@imccharlotte.org. Communications. Deep bow to all our volunteers. Thank you for your support of these teachings, and I will, including myself, everyone is a volunteer. So it's not just a few, we're all volunteers here. So, and then Donna, in our tradition, the teachings are offered freely. We would highly appreciate any contributions that anybody's able to make or willing to make. And that is online. There's a donate tab on the website. So let's see if we have any chat-ins. And if you have questions for the Dharma Leader panel on the 22nd of September, please email them to alwayskindness@gmail.com. That's Joy. So she's handling these questions. alwayskindness@gmail. She has the best email on the planet. Oh, we have located a web helper. Yay. Should have read that first. That's wonderful. We have a web helper on the way. Yay. Okay. So let's see. I think that's it. Is anybody? Oh, here's a question. Here's a hand. I am.
Thanks, Debbie. And sorry.
Hi, Denise.
Yeah, great talk. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And sorry to continue with the announcements, but when it comes to the annual picnic, We're gonna
Yeah,
do it a little different this year. We're not gonna do potluck. We're asking everyone to bring their own little picnic with them, but we'll
right.
provide jug water, ice, and bring some dessert that will be individually packaged. And if people can bring their own water canteen, this way we can try to reduce the use of those solo cups. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much. So, okay, looks like we're good. And we're going to end on time just because you guys didn't have any questions. So let's settle in for just a few minutes of loving kindness meditation. So please, as your first act of loving kindness toward your sweet self, make yourself comfortable. Gently close your eyes and maybe bring to mind someone that you would like to hold in your heart, to wish loving kindness toward them. And then we will actually begin the meditation with ourselves. So, wishing yourself safety. May I feel safe from inner and outer harm. You can repeat that phrase to yourself. May I be happy. May I have physical happiness and mental happiness. May I be healthy and strong. May I be free from stress, free from suffering. And then bringing again this person to mind and heart, and directing these loving phrases toward them. May you feel protected and safe. May you be safe from inner and outer harm. May you be happy. May you have physical happiness and mental happiness. May you be healthy and strong. May you be free from suffering, free from stress. And then we'll open our hearts, our minds to all, everywhere. May all, without exception, be protected and safe. Safe from inner and outer harm. May all be happy, physically and mentally. May all be healthy and strong. And may all beings be free from stress.